Hey now.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Good morning. Welcome to our first fully audio and visual podcast that we're doing for the Next Issue podcast. We've been trying to grow the YouTube channel with a little bit of like a few videos of reaction and uploading the podcast there. But I figured it was about time to maybe get all our loyal listeners. We have about 53 subscribers now to the YouTube channel, and I want them to be able to see our faces.
Poor Matt.
I would like to apologize.
Yeah. But with that, I do want to say that we need to get to 100 so we can get an actual YouTube link. So if you're watching this somehow and you're not subscribed, please subscribe, share it with your friends, airdrop it to people on the street. You never know who's going to actually accept a random link for a YouTube podcast.
True.
So, but
it's called living, my friends. You just accept it.
It's guerrilla marketing.
Let's go on to our. I know right now it's kind of hard to do that because we're staying away from people, but in the future when you're in a convention, just airdrop our podcast to everyone that's there. But let's go into our first segment. Boom, technology. Previously on Next Issue.
Excellent.
Who wants to kick us off?
I can.
Good, Clyde.
Got the second shot of the vaccine.
Excellent.
Lived through it. It was fine. Went to UT Southwestern. And both times there was really no line. They were prepared for bigger crowds, but just walked through. So nice. If you're a patient there, it should be on your app, and that's how we got in. Okay, now I asked what?
Any side effects?
I mean,
Devin seemed like he got hit hard with the second one.
Really?
Yeah, like he was like dazed. Like he had symptoms for like a couple days.
Somebody else said that too. I heard that
both my parents have both shots now, and my mom mainly. The second day she was just tired.
And that's what I've heard from a lot of people. But like Devin seemed like he was getting like body shakes, chills, like pain in his body from the second one. So, and I've heard mix of people like just lethargic, and then some like I didn't hear for days. I heard like it was be like for one day you slept and you were fine.
But look what Devin's been through for the past 3 years.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'll hit everyone different, but overall, I think I've heard it makes sense, right? Your body's trying to your body's making a lot of changes that day, so it's pretty busy. So it uses more energy than normal. But
so body's going through changes.
So when I eventually get the shot, can I just imagine that scene in Spider-Man when he his DNA starts transforming? Is that pretty scientifically accurate?
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
Oh yeah.
Okay. If I wake up the next,
I'm an old man.
If after the shot I wake up the next day and I look like Andrew Garfield, I'm not going to be complaining.
I'm just excited to have the hair.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, 20 years ago, I kind of looked like Tobey Maguire before I transformed into Tobias Funke. So,
why is it Peter Parker gets bitten by a spider, and the next day he gains muscles and abs? Barry Allen gets shocked by lightning, and all he gets is abs.
What do you also? The question I have is, what did they do to that spider to turn you into Tobias Funke?
It was painted blue, and it only wore cut-off jeans.
No. It was the second bite of the spider. It was the second spider bite that did that.
Yeah, the first bite did nothing. The second bite really turned me into this.
All right. Sorry, Clay. Go ahead. I'm really glad to hear you got your vaccine, though.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to talk about a movie that I suggested some people watch. This is on HBO Max called "There Is No I in Threesome." Have any of y'all watched it?
No.
Are any of you planning on watching it?
Maybe after you tell me what's going on.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. So I want to get your thoughts on this because really you're going to miss the experience of it, but I don't know if it's that great of an experience. But this man documents his relationship with his fiance as they start to have an open relationship. Okay. Yeah. It's just, you know which way this is going. And nothing good is going to come from this. And so we watched this relationship break down and fall apart. And then we get to a moment in the movie. Spoilers for There Is No I in Threesome. And you find out that the woman he's been seeing is an actor, that he actually has lived through this already, documented it in a different film, rewritten it, and then cast an actress to play her, and then reshot it and edited it himself. So he has taken this incredibly terrible moment and put it on film and worked on it for years. And you get to this moment and you're just like, so none of that was real, but the actress is so good and everything you see is also through his lens. You hate her. She's that good. You're just like, man, that bitch, she just did him wrong. And then you find out she's an actress and you're just like, wow, bravo. Because that's the best part of it. And then you turn on the guy and you're just like, I feel manipulated.
Yeah.
What?
So would y'all watch a documentary if something, because this was in the documentaries, that cast actors in roles and gave this kind of lens? Because I don't see a person who can tell a story about themselves, especially in a relationship, that can give 100% of that story.
Right.
It was an interesting take, but to see this guy be so miserable and then realize, oh, he then chose to live through it again. And then even if he just like didn't do anything, I think he would at some point would have moved on and felt better. That probably happened through some point in production. And he just realized, shit, I still got to work on this film. And that's all I could think of is this guy chose to be in this terrible state for a long time to make a movie where it has a great twist, but then you question everything you just saw. So would y'all want to see documentaries that manipulated you?
No.
I mean, if it's like, if there's clearly a moment where it fesses up, then I'm intrigued by that structure, right? If it's clear that we're being manipulated, then personally I'm okay with that.
Okay.
If it comes out after the fact, right? Like, oh, actually all this was, it's kind of like or it sounds a bit like that oh god, I'm totally blanking on it. Who's the guy from Joker?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix film,
right? You talking about the one he did where he was playing like he was all crazy? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Where people thought he had just gone off the deep end. He was appeering as the character on like real talk shows.
When he had the ZZ Top beard.
Yeah. And I haven't seen that, but I don't think there's a moment of that where it's clear that again we're being manipulated. It was almost like a performance piece. So I don't know. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted someone to see it to get that twist, because as we sat there, I was really trying to reframe the whole movie while it was still happening. Yeah. But it was neat to see someone make a performance so well that you hate her. But that leads to the other film that I watched this weekend, A Futile and Stupid Gesture. Do you guys know this? It's about Doug Kinney, the guy who created National Lampoon.
Oh, I've been wanting to see that. Yeah.
What about it?
So it's told in the format where it has actors playing the roles of people, but throughout the film, because it's based on something real, it could be considered a documentary in the same sense of what this guy just shot. But they have people who play roles that don't exist, and they tell you that. Martin Mull tells you he's playing older Doug Kinney, and if you go in that knowing Doug Kinney, you know that he's not Doug Kinney. Yeah. I really recommend it for comedy nerds if you haven't seen it. But A Futile and Stupid Gestures on Netflix, and then I have thoughts on WandaVision, but we can hold that for another time.
Yeah, we'll have a full WandaVision show probably in the next few weeks. I will say, Clay, sometimes I think you have a completely different dimension to like your media access. because I don't know where you find these things.
What?
Like the things you talk about.
Really?
I'm like, I have a lot of those services, and I've never like whatever you did to your algorithm.
I keep my algorithm pretty clean. When we watch really weird shit, we go into Shelby's, and so I'm always
there. We go.
I love to see the weird stuff that comes up on hers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, okay,
great. Put the blame on the wife.
All right, Josh, do you wanna go next?
Yeah, sure. I actually caught up on some comics. I caught up on Spider-Woman, which I will say, despite how much I hated the first King in Black issue, the second and the third one are pretty good because it basically just ignores everything else that's happening. There's like maybe one mention of it in the background, and it's just really focused on Jessica's story. So it kind of rewrites itself. I caught up on Strange Adventures. I'm really worried that the theory I have is going to come true.
Isn't it so good though? Like we talked about that, I think last week when you were in here. I was like, I think Josh was on the money there.
I think I'm right. I mean, just the way that issue ends when they're walking away for the father-daughter camping trip. Oh God, it looks bad.
I have a serious question, Josh.
Okay.
Are you secretly Tom King?
God, I wish. That'd be awesome. No, I'm not cool enough.
Tell us about your CIA days.
Yeah. Josh Rose is the CIA cover that they came up with you after.
He says to buy us, but it's CIA.
Right. I was gonna say that is the worst CIA cover ever. We're gonna make you look like Tobias from UK and teach art history. Go. But no. So I caught up on that. I just randomly one night I reread a comic that I bought years ago that I read then that I love called Craven, Mystery Man of the 20th Century. It's by Mike Richardson, the founder of Dark Horse, and Rick Gary. Such a good book. It's kind of in that line of books Gary's been doing of like famous murders, so it's a biography. But Arthur Craven is just a fascinating figure. And I knew of him through my studies and my research. He was just kind of like a shyster, if you will. He was Oscar Wilde's nephew. And that Arthur Craven isn't even his real name. And he just kind of like pops up in the early 20th century around all these like modernist movements and key events and things. It's kind of like an artsy Forrest Gump. And it has this amazing ending that is perfect for the character. And if you don't know anything about Craven, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a great book. I mean, you can read it in an hour. It's one of Gary's like 60-page little books, so reread that. And then for the comic book club, we read Ali Brosh's Hyperbole and a Half, which I cannot recommend more highly or enough. It's such an amazing book. It's so good. So anyway, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I like the comic, that book as well for book club. I think the only thing I mentioned was that it wasn't something I would read all at once, like a comic. Right?
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's funny. It's nice to see. I didn't know that's where the meme came from, like "Let us clean" or whatever.
Yeah.
So now, real quick before we move on to Kyle, Clay, I know there's some comics you also wanted to talk about, and I think we can skip that.
Sorry.
Oh no, I forgot about them. Damn Cursed Children 2, from the guys that we had on. I just really want to watch little kids eat people. Like that's what I love about
wrong with you?
That's what I love about that book. I I kind of don't care about the people. I want it to be like, because as I'm reading it physically, I kind of wonder what it'd be like to read digitally because of the action scenes. But I wish they'd kind of just lean into that and just show the massive hordes of children taking over people.
Forget text, forget action. Just all 4 issues, just kids plowing down the adult civilization.
Yes, That I 5 stars would read.
Yay,
Yeah,
there it is.
there it is.
Yeah, we have a visual medium now. I can actually pull up these comics and show them to the camera.
Awesome. I still love the EC comic style of the covers.
Yeah, that is cool.
Good.
Nuclear Family. This is the other book I want to recommend. Actually, Shelby picked this up and I read it, and worth picking up. I'm going to suggest it. I'm not going to tell you anything. Yeah.
I haven't read it, but Shelby, I was going to talk about Shelby recommended that to me as well.
And then I finished the first run of Department of Truth. Who else is reading this?
It's the first 5 chapters, right?
6.
6 chapters? Okay.
Okay, so yeah. I subscribed to it after Daniel mentioned it, I think, but I haven't started to read it yet. I was getting caught up in all the other stuff. So it's in my queue.
Yeah, this actually was a recommendation from the Josh at Urban Legends. And since he's always hitting home runs with me, that's why I recommended it blind one of our last shows. It's really good. It has the concept that Neil Gaiman has in American Gods, where if you believe in a conspiracy theory, it gives it energy and life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's all I'm going to tell you, because there's so much in it that everything's a spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good.
And then I have another book for recommendations later.
Okay. Kyle, let's go to you.
Didn't read anything really much new this week, except I read the new Amazing Spider-Man number 60, which is wow, they really took Peter into a different turn. Basically, it's MJ trying to help him deal with the trauma he dealt with Kindred. All the times he was killed and brought back to life, killed and brought back to life. All the guilt that he's feeling that he basically Kindred made him feel. And then come to realize that basically she's actually working with one of his enemies. And last part has Doctor Strange meeting up with a certain cosmic being trying to find out what's wrong with Peter.
Oh,
what cosmic being?
Mephisto. Coming right and goes, what's wrong with Peter Parker's soul?
Well, the real question is how long do you have? Because let me tell you, that boy's trouble.
I know, but it's just. But I think they're going back. We may be seeing a rehash back to
one more day.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my next question. Are they gonna?
Yeah, they're gonna try to fix that.
Yeah, Mephisto's like, yeah. Oh, I forgot I broke his soul back then. That's on me.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
But yeah, I read the first 3 issues so far of Daniel's recommendation for one of the possible future episodes for Old Man Quill.
Yes,
I've never been the biggest fan of the Old Man stuff, but Quill's interesting. With just seeing him with the original lineup and how they take out a certain criminal team in the first 3 issues was pretty fun.
Yeah. I think when we read Hawkeye, I think overall we really enjoyed it.
See, I didn't read Hawkeye. I don't think I was on that episode.
Yeah, I guess you didn't read Hawkeye with us, but I think the interesting part is how would somebody that's been away from Earth and then comes back to the old, to the wasteland. You
have Quill with the Guardians, and they're taking on the Wrecking Crew, and they go first Wolverine, then Hawkeye, now you. I think you're all supposed to be dead. It's just like realizing, like apparently it's hard for like these, the non-main listers to stay dead. Cool. Tried reading Crossover. It's a little hard to get into. Like I wanted to like more, but it still hasn't caught me just yet.
So I haven't read it this week, but I did get this variant.
See, I saw the cover, and that's what kind of got me interested.
And yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything because it's really cool. But the cover that I'm holding for the audio listeners, it's Madman, and he's holding Valifax, the sword from God Country that Donny Cates wrote.
Oh, okay. Wait, so would I need to read God Country before I read Crossover?
No, you just need to read Crossover and Crossover.
Okay. I like Donny Cates.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. When I finished issue 3, I was like, why is Josh not reading this book?
Been rereading the 1989 series of What If from Marvel, kind of going through the different issues, and came on one issue, and I didn't realize I want to say there's one 4-issue story arc where basically they take it like where this I can't remember who the being is. I can't remember. I don't think it's the Watcher, but he takes like certain characters out of these different stories to make a team to take on the Time Bureau. and you realize it's the same time period that we're going to be dealing with inside of Loki.
Oh,
so you
cool.
kind of get an intro of there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
10 variants, whatever.
Yeah. And then I've been rewatching episodes of the Muppet Show now that's all on Disney Plus. And I have found some great, like two of my favorite episodes were in season 5. They have James Coburn in there, and so you have him like everyone thinks he's such a hot he tries to be like the non-mean dude, but when he ends up making a friendship with Animal, and they have one scene where basically you have Scooter going to Kermit and he goes, Animal's made a friendship with James Coburn, and then his dressing room door opens and he says, try this, and a chair just gets thrown out and hits down like Kermit, and then when he goes, no, Animal, try this, and he throws another one out, and he gets caught on like a thing on the top of the tier, and it's just like, well, they're becoming they're sharing something. And then they also had another one where basically Waldorf and Statler, after the 4 seasons of being up in the booth complaining about the show, Kermit has given them a chance to actually take over and run the show for a day. And so it's Kermit and Fonzie are in the actual booth. And the guest star is Hal Linden from Barney Miller.
Oh,
and
God.
He's like going, what the hell's going on? Where's Kermit? And then, like, you know, and like half the cast is like, we've been canceled. Piggy's like, no, you've been canceled for 1 episode. We've been canceled. Just, oh my God, the show's so awesome.
When was the last time you think you watched that, Kyle, before this?
I think bits and parts on YouTube, and I own the season 3 box set, but I don't know if I ever watched an episode. It was basically, it was probably my 20s or early 30s.
Okay, because my question was going to be, like, if you watched this when you were younger or as a kid or whatever, I don't know how old the show is.
Oh, late 70s. About
yeah, so I was like, is there a lot of stuff on the rewatch that you, like, it just completely went over your head when you were, you know?
And that's what I'm saying, like, knowing who James Coburn and Hal Linden is, now being older, now I'm getting even more of the actual, like, but it's what do you call it? It's a, what do you call the Carol Burnett show? It's a
variety show.
A variety
yeah, that's what the Muppet Show is. It's a variety show. It's basically done in the format of a variety show. So now I'm getting more of the humor and stuff and understanding. Like when I watched it, it was like, oh, I think I've seen these people on a show, but I knew the Muppets.
Yeah,
now
as a kid, you're excited about fucking Muppets on the TV, right? Like,
yeah, and then now watching the fact that, like, you know, one of the guest stars is Raquel Welch or Dudley Moore, and you see all these different characters. And I can't think of the guy's name, but I know at least Clay and Josh, Young Frankenstein, the guy whose eyes bulged out.
Oh, Marty Feldman.
Yeah, he's on an episode I haven't watched yet, but he comes and he goes, "The British are coming! The British are coming!" And I think it was interesting because the first 4 seasons deals with Scooter entering the dressing room, telling whoever the guest star is 15 seconds till
Showtime.
Oh my God, Showtime. Yeah. But the season 5 deals with the old man Doc sitting in this thing, and the guest star's walking into the actual stage and going, "Hi, I'm here for the Muppet Show." And he goes, "Who are you?" And so it's just,
I really want to believe Aaron Sorkin was inspired by the Muppet Show to always show the show behind the show, like he did, like he did in
Studio 60 and the Sunset Strip,
Sports Night,
in Sports
or Newsday,
Newsroom.
Newsroom, yeah.
All these shows are just about behind the scenes, huh?
Yeah,
well, technically, I guess the West Wing is too.
Scooter.
Yeah, the newsroom is also just like what happens behind the newsroom. Holy shit, Aaron Sorkin, we figured it out, man.
He's a one-trick pony. He's a one-trick Muppet. That's what he is.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was great. I don't have a lot this week. I mean, I've read a lot, but we don't have all day. So I'm going to keep it brief. The two kind of coolest things I read. We'll do an after show called just waste of time, and then we'll just do we'll just keep talking until we can't talk anymore.
8 days later.
Yeah. So I read Invisible Kingdom Volume 1 by G. Willow Wilson with art by Christian Ward from Image. If you guys know anything about this book won an Eisner last year for Best New Series, and it has some pretty stiff competition. Like, it beat out Something's Killing the Children and Undiscovered Country, like just stuff that's been pretty good. It was really good. Like, it's kind of like it has a lot of feels of Firefly, but there's also a lot of commentary on, like, the big bad is this company called Lux, which is pretty much Amazon. And then there's some stuff with, like, religion And there's, like I said, there's a lot of really good stuff in there. I wish the first volume had one more issue to kind of expand a little bit on a lot of things. I think from what I talked to some people, like this was supposed to be a one and done 5-issue thing, and it was so successful that they've expanded it to 15 issues. But the first volume feels like a lot of really good ideas, a lot of really cool hooks, but they don't really pull the trigger on any of them, because at the end of the 5 issues, we're just left with like, okay, this is where our people are, like the crew or whatever. And, you know, now it's when the book's really going to get going. So
it doesn't have a complete story, or are you just reading the setup?
No, it has, the arc does come to a conclusion.
Okay.
I don't know that it was super satisfying, because I probably wanted, like I said, I think just one more issue or like 10 more pages of something like really would help this book out. But volume 3, so because of COVID, this book has stopped coming out in single issues, and they're just going to collect the 3rd volume. It'll come out later this year. So probably later on in the year, I'll be talking about just having read the whole thing. And the other thing I read that I want to talk about, and I'm
excited about this.
It was TMNT, The Last Run in #2. Now, this picture is not a spoiler. This is not like, I won't tell you which one of the turtles is the one that is still alive in the future.
What color is the headband?
So the cover that I showed here was Raphael, but that's misleading.
Well, yeah, because they were in the original series. They all had red head.
They all had red head. Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right. And then I got this really cool variant by Sophie Campbell.
Whoa, that is nice.
Damn, that's nice. Yeah. That's very Frank Miller.
So the way I'm pitching this book to people, and I hope this isn't a disservice to the book, is what if the Dark Knight Returns, but with the TMNT turtles, like what if with the turtles? So if that sounds something like you'd want to read, and like I said, it may be a disservice to the book, but that's just the best way that's how I feel when reading, like the same things that I was feeling when reading the Dark Knight Returns for the first time. Wait a minute, Batman can do this shit, like all that stuff, and like because the world's so different because it's so far in the future, and then like the turtle that remains because it's lost all its siblings, like like it's more depressing and dark, and
they killed people in the very first issue. The very first comic they ever did, they actually killed the actual Foot Clan. It's not like they haven't killed before.
Eastman and Laird are working on this book too. I think Laird and Eastman are helping with the writing, and then you get to see some Kevin Eastman art in like some flashbacks, which is mind blowing. Like I love Kevin Eastman art in small doses like this. I like his art a lot, but I wouldn't go back and read like an omnibus of the original stuff all at once. But like this combined with the more modern art. It's really good. There's a lot of creators, which is why I didn't list everybody. But yeah, it's a really cool book.
Well, this also brings it full circle, right? Because infamously, the inspiration for TMNT was Miller's
Daredevil.
Well, Daredevil, but also his samurai book, which was called
Ronin.
Ronin. Yeah. So
Ronin.
it's like that was the direct inspiration for TMNT and the look and feel of it. So
yeah. So I really recommend it. I'm really enjoying it.
It's funny you talk about the whole like how dark it is. I was reading an article recently of people saying how brutal Ben Affleck's Batman was, and they go back. You got to remember when he first appeared in 1939, he actually carried a gun and actually hung somebody from a plane. So it's like,
right.
Yeah.
By the way, real quick, Invisible Kingdoms Volume 1 and 2 are on sale right now on Comixology for $6 each. So as of recording.
Yeah, they're also available on Hoopla, which is where I read it. I think if they come out with like some kind of omnibus with all of it, then I'll probably buy that. But yeah, it's a beautiful book. Christian Ward's art, if you haven't read Black Bolt, you're missing out. Like that 12-issue series with Saladin Ahmed. It's really good.
And those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books, the Ronin books, they're all oversized. They're like the original magazine size of
the prestige format, I think.
Yeah.
They call it right. Yeah.
But that's very the size of the first 3 or 4 original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics because they were oversized.
Okay. I think so. I didn't know that, but that makes a lot of sense that they would go back and do it like that. That's cool. Yeah, this book I'm gonna keep buying it. The first issue was really hard to find, but the second print is already out there because a lot of people just like speculators. They're like, well, it's a Turtles book. It's different, and Eastman and Laird are working on it, and they always think that they're gonna introduce new characters. It was also short printed because they didn't know how successful it was gonna be. So it was like a perfect storm of like, you can't get this book unless you pre-ordered it. Yeah, but the second issue they've made adjustments. So, and then like I said, you can go back and get the first one. They've reprinted it.
That looks like a hardback collection for me because it looks nice.
Yeah.
I'm
sure it'll have a lot of really cool stuff in the back too.
Like
sketches and stuff like that. But okay. Well, let's take a quick break here, and then we'll go on to our main topic for today, which I think we're just gonna call it Superman. There's a few things that we want to talk about Superman related. So Superman's our main topic.